What you see during a golf broadcast is only a fraction of what actually happens on the course. Did you know that networks have deliberately avoided showing certain players after receiving complaints from sponsors? Or that microphones have picked up profanity-laced arguments between players that were quickly cut from the broadcast? In this video, I'll break down the most controversial moments in golf broadcasting history. The hot mic incidents, censored arguments, and footage deliberately kept off air by networks protecting the sport's genteel image. These aren't just technical glitches or random editing decisions. They're the calculated choices that shape how we perceive the game and its players. And the most shocking part? Some of these controversies led to policy changes that fundamentally altered how golf is presented on television, yet most fans have no idea they even happened. Tiger Woods' hot mic moments. Tiger Woods has always been intensely focused on the course, but what viewers at home rarely heard were his frequent outbursts after poor shots. While occasional muttered profanities made it to air, networks developed a specific protocol for handling Tiger moments that went beyond acceptable broadcast standards. During the 2006 WGC Bridgestone Invitational, Woods hit a poor approach shot on the 18th hole and unleashed a string of expletives that was picked up by on-course microphones. CBS quickly cut the audio, but not before viewers heard the beginning of the tirade. What most people don't know is that after this incident, CBS implemented a 5-second delay specifically for Woods' groups, something typically reserved for live awards shows, not sporting events. The situation escalated at the 2009 Australian Masters when Woods, after hitting a wayward tee shot, was clearly heard saying, "You're a fucking idiot, Tiger." The Australian broadcast didn't have the same delay protocols as American networks, causing the outburst to air unedited. This led to formal complaints with the Australian Communications and Media Authority. What's particularly interesting is how differently Woods was treated compared to other players. Former CBS golf producer Lance Barrow admitted in a 2015 interview that the network had specific camera operators assigned to follow Woods with instructions to cut away quickly after poor shots, a courtesy not extended to most other players. This double standard became even more apparent after Woods' personal scandal in 2009. Former CBS commentator Peter Kostis revealed years later that producers were explicitly instructed to limit coverage of Woods' on-course reactions during his comeback, fearing additional damage to his already tarnished image. The Gary McCord ban. Perhaps the most famous broadcasting controversy in golf history occurred when CBS commentator Gary McCord was permanently banned from Masters coverage after his comments during the 1994 tournament. McCord, known for his colorful commentary, described the lightning-fast greens at Augusta National by saying they were bikini waxed, and noted that the mounds behind one green were so severe that any ball landing there would be body bags. While these comments seem tame by today's standards, Augusta National officials were furious at what they considered disrespectful language. What viewers don't know is that McCord wasn't immediately informed of his ban. He only learned he wouldn't be returning when CBS released its commentator assignments for the 1995 Masters without his name. When McCord inquired about the omission, he was told that Augusta National had exercised its contractual right to approve all broadcasting personnel. The controversy extended beyond McCord's ban. Multiple CBS executives appealed to Augusta National Chairman Howard Hardin to reconsider, arguing that McCord's popularity with viewers actually increased interest in the tournament. According to former CBS producer Frank Cherkinian, Hardin's response was blunt. "We don't care about ratings. We care about the dignity of the tournament." This incident revealed the extraordinary power Augusta National holds over its broadcast partners. Unlike any other sporting event, the Masters is technically broadcast by Augusta National itself, with CBS serving as a production partner under a series of one-year contracts that can be terminated at will, giving the club unprecedented control over how the tournament is presented. Patrick Reed's cheating allegations. One of the most significant recent broadcasting controversies involved Patrick Reed and allegations of cheating during the 2019 Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas. Reed was penalized 2 strokes after television cameras caught him improving his lie in a waste bunker by moving sand during practice swings. What viewers didn't see was the extensive behind-the-scenes debate about how to handle the incident. According to production staff who later spoke anonymously to Golf Digest, there was significant pressure from PGA Tour officials to minimize discussion of the incident during the broadcast. NBC commentator Paul Azinger wanted to use the term cheating during the broadcast, but was reportedly instructed to use softer language like rules violation or improving his lie. The network ultimately compromised by showing the footage multiple times, but avoiding explicit accusations of intentional cheating. Even more revealing was what happened at the following week's President's Cup in Australia. When fans began heckling Reed with chants of "Patrick cheat" and mimicking shoveling motions, U.S. broadcast partners showed almost none of this crowd behavior. International viewers watching the host Australian broadcast, however, saw extensive coverage of the heckling and Reed's confrontational responses, including when he mimicked a shoveling motion with his putter after making a birdie. This discrepancy between domestic and international coverage of the same event highlighted how U.S. networks often protect the image of American players, particularly in team competitions with nationalist overtones. The Saudi LIV Golf blackout. When the Saudi-backed LIV Golf Series launched in the 2022, it created the biggest schism in professional golf history. Major champions like Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Bryson DeChambeau defected from the PGA Tour for guaranteed contracts reportedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars. What many viewers didn't realize was how systematically PGA Tour broadcast partners, CBS, NBC, and ESPN, minimized coverage of LIV Golf and its players. According to data compiled by the Sports Business Journal, mentions of LIV Golf during PGA Tour broadcasts decreased by 87% between June 2022 and December 2022, despite the controversy growing during this period. If you're finding these broadcasting secrets fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. I'm constantly uncovering the hidden stories behind golf's biggest moments that the networks don't want you to know about. Drop a comment below telling me which broadcasting controversies surprised you the most, and I'll share additional details that didn't make it into this video. Now, let's get back to more shocking broadcast controversies that were deliberately kept off your television. The Chamblee-Koepka feud. One of the most intense feuds between a player and analyst occurred between Golf Channel's Brandel Chamblee and four-time major champion Brooks Koepka. The controversy began when Chamblee criticized Koepka's weight loss for a magazine photo shoot, suggesting it showed a lack of commitment to golf. Koepka responded on social media with a photoshopped image of Chamblee with a clown nose. The feud escalated when Chamblee questioned Koepka's toughness before the 2019 PGA Championship, which Koepka went on to win. What viewers didn't see was how this affected Golf Channel's coverage. According to network insiders who spoke to Golf Digest, producers were instructed to limit Chamblee's on-air analysis of Koepka to strictly technical aspects of his game, avoiding any commentary that could be perceived as personal criticism. This behind-the-scenes directive became obvious when Koepka won the 2019 PGA Championship. While Chamblee analyzed every other contender's final round in detail during post-tournament coverage, his comments about Koepka were noticeably brief and focused solely on statistical analysis, rather than his typical psychological insights. The situation became even more awkward when both men were in the same building during tournament weeks. Production staff reported having to create schedules ensuring Chamblee and Koepka wouldn't cross paths in the studio or on the practice range where Golf Channel often conducted interviews. This feud revealed how networks must balance honest analysis with maintaining relationships with the players they cover, and how that balance often tilts toward protecting player access at the expense of candid commentary. The Masters manipulated broadcasts. Augusta National Golf Club maintains unprecedented control over how the Masters tournament is presented on television, including practices that would be considered unethical in standard broadcasting. Perhaps the most notorious example is the club's manipulation of audio. For decades, Augusta National has placed microphones throughout the course to capture bird sounds, creating the idyllic soundtrack that has become synonymous with the tournament. What viewers don't know is that many of these bird sounds are augmented or entirely artificial. Former CBS technician Stephen Leacock revealed in a 2019 interview that the network maintains a library of bird sounds that are mixed into the broadcast when natural ambient sound is insufficient. This practice began in the early 1990s when then-Chairman Hootie Johnson complained that viewers couldn't hear enough birds during the broadcast. Even more manipulative is Augusta National's control over what viewers see. The club strictly prohibits showing certain areas of the property, including the cabins where players stay and the exclusive Berkman's Place hospitality area. More controversially, they've been known to request that certain gallery areas not be shown when attendance appears sparse. Former CBS director Steve Milton confirmed in a Golf Digest interview that Augusta national officials review and must approve all camera positions, with certain angles forbidden because they might show parts of the property the club wishes to keep private, or because they don't present the course in what the club considers its most flattering light. Perhaps most shocking is the club's policy on dead or brown grass. If patches of imperfect turf are visible, the club has been known to have them painted green before broadcast hours. When this isn't possible, camera operators are instructed to avoid those areas entirely, creating a literally false picture of the course's condition. Phil Mickelson's Saudi comments. In February 2022, Phil Mickelson created the biggest public relations crisis of his career when his comments about the Saudi-backed LIV Golf series were published by golf writer Alan Shipnuck. Mickelson called the Saudis scary motherfuckers, but said he was willing to work with them to gain leverage against the PGA Tour, which he accused of obnoxious greed. The fallout was immediate and severe. Multiple sponsors, including KPMG and Amstel Light, terminated their relationships with Mickelson. He took a 4-month hiatus from competitive golf before eventually joining LIV Golf for a reported $200 million guaranteed contract. What viewers don't know is how dramatically this affected television coverage of Mickelson. According to production staff who spoke anonymously to Sports Illustrated, major networks implemented unofficial policies to minimize Mickelson's presence in broadcasts even when he was in contention. This became obvious at the 2022 U.S. Open, where Mickelson was making his first appearance in a U.S.-based event since the controversy. Despite being one of golf's biggest stars and a 6-time U.S. Open runner-up, NBC showed remarkably little of Mickelson's play, even during Thursday's opening round when viewing options were limited. The situation became even more apparent at the 2022 PGA Championship, where Mickelson was the defending champion but chose not to participate. Traditionally, significant airtime would be dedicated to discussing the absent defending champion, but CBS barely mentioned Mickelson throughout the broadcast. This de facto blackout revealed how networks, fearful of alienating sponsors and the PGA Tour, effectively erased one of golf's most popular figures from their coverage. A decision made in production meetings rather than as a natural result of his play. What we see during golf broadcasts is a carefully curated version of reality, shaped by network executives, tour officials, and tournament organizers to present the sport in a specific light. From Tiger's censored outbursts to Augusta's artificial bird sounds, these behind-the-scenes decisions fundamentally alter our perception of the game and its players. These broadcasting controversies matter because they reveal the gap between golf's carefully maintained image of honor and transparency and the more complex reality of a billion-dollar sports business protecting its commercial interests. When networks deliberately avoid showing certain players, censor legitimate controversies, or manipulate audio and visual elements, they're making editorial decisions that go far beyond normal production choices. Perhaps most importantly, these incidents highlight the unusual power dynamics in golf broadcasting, where players, sponsors, and governing bodies exert influence that would be unacceptable in most other sports. As viewers become more aware of these hidden controversies, the pressure for more authentic coverage will likely increase, potentially changing how the sport is presented to future generations of fans. If you found these broadcasting secrets fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm constantly uncovering the hidden stories behind golf's biggest moments that the networks don't want you to know about. Drop a comment below telling me which broadcasting controversy surprised you the most, and I'll see you in the next video.